Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Unity on the Eastern Shores Sunday morning service. We're so happy that each of you decided to be with us today. My name is Andrea Mitchell, and I'm on the board at Unity of the Eastern Shore. And on behalf of the board and all our members, I say to you, welcome. If you would repeat with me together our purpose statement so that we can remind ourselves why we are here. Our purpose is to foster a new level of spiritual awareness through worship and fellowship, and to lift one another to a Christ-like maturity. Our affirmation for this week is, in this now moment, I know the energy of God permeates my very being. I am ready to enthusiastically use this energy to my highest good and the good of all humanity. And the daily word today, awe and wonder. I am alive and alert to the beauty of God's world. The world created by God is a magnificent one, filled with wondrous beauty and great power. The brilliance of a rainbow, the roar of a waterfall, the rustling of leaves, and the intricate patterns of a butterfly's wings all reflect the loving power of God that created them. The physical beauty of the world causes me to pause and take notice, but even more astounding is the universe of abundance and beauty that is within me and the people around me. In the exuberance of a child, the smile of a friend, the warm thanks of a stranger, I see the love of God in action, and its splendor invigorates me. In awe and wonder, I give thanks to God as creator. Therefore, since we are receiving, could we go back one slide? Receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, let us give thanks by which we offer to God an acceptable worship with reverence and awe. Hebrews 12:28. And now we'll enjoy Everything is Sacred.
Everything is sacred. Everything is filled with the divine. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a wonder, unfolding right before our eyes. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a blessing, bursting from the earth and sky. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everyone is sacred. Everyone is filled with the divine.
And now it's my distinct honor and privilege to welcome today's speaker, Alan Klein. Alan is a well-known speaker, not only in the Unity universe, but also he has been a TEDx speaker and has received numerous awards for his speaking. Additionally, he's an author of over 30 books, and the most recent one of which is the one that we're going to hear about today. It's called The Power of Awe. So, Alan Klein.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Appreciate that. So that song talked about everything is wonder, everything is spirit, everything is awe, I would add. And so I want to share with you today some of the stories in my book, The Awe Factor, and why it's important to find the awe that's all around us. So I want to start with 3 of those stories. One of them happened to me years ago. I was in Yosemite. I was climbing up to Vernal Falls, and there are 2 paths, one going up and one coming down. And I get near the top, and somebody on the path going down yells over, "Alan," and I look and I don't recognize the person. And he said, "I'm John. I was your apprentice when you were a scenic designer in summer stock." And I was awed because I had not seen John in over 40 years. And there we were meeting on the top of a path in Yosemite. I mean, some people might say that's a coincidence, Alan. That's not an awe moment. For me, that was an awe moment because we could have been, 2 seconds later, he could have been looking away. I could have been going a different direction. I could have been further down the path. I mean, everything came together just in that moment of our meeting. For me, that was an awe moment. Another awe experience was with my mom. She was 82. She had never taken a plane ride before. And she got on the plane. She lived on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. I met her on the plane and I said, "Ma, how did you like it?" As she was getting off, "How did you like your plane ride? First plane ride ever." And she said, "It was incredible. You could see the tops of the clouds." And I thought, I've flown many, many times and seen lots of tops of the clouds, never realized how incredible, how awesome that was. And so there was an awe moment for her, perhaps not for me, but there was an awe moment. And the third example I want to give you is I was listening to the radio, and it was a story about 3 prisoners who were getting out of prison that day. And there was a reporter there. And they asked the 3 prisoners, they asked each one, "What are you looking forward to the most?" And the first one said, "I'm looking forward to being with my family. I haven't seen them in years." That seemed like a natural answer, of course. Second one said, "I love baseball. I have not seen a baseball game in years. I'm looking forward to going to my first live baseball game in a very long time." And the third one, and this was an awe moment for this person and really surprised me. He said, the third prisoner said, "I'm looking forward to opening the refrigerator." And I thought, what? I open the refrigerator several times a day. That is not an awe moment for me. But then I realized he wasn't able to open the refrigerator for the time he was incarcerated, 20 years maybe, not getting a cold glass of milk or a piece of fruit. He wasn't even able to make his own lunch from the refrigerator. So just opening the refrigerator was an awe moment for him. And so what I realize is that awe moments are often in the eyes of the beholder. They often take all shapes and sizes, and that it's hard to define. When I was writing my book, I met with my former literary agent, and he said, "Alan, what is awe?" And I was a bit stymied. Here I'm writing a book about it, and I could not really distinctly define it. So I start looking at really what is awe. And I discovered the dictionary says that it is reverence mixed with awe and it's fear and wonder. Reverence mixed with fear and wonder. And I thought, fear? I don't associate awe with fear. And yet then I remembered lightning storm. When I was a little kid, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, there was lightning and thunder. I would hide under the blanket. It was fear. And yet you see a lightning storm and it's quite brilliant. It's quite awesome. So yes, there may be fear in awe. The other thing is what the researchers say. They define awe as something that is so vast, like the Grand Canyon, that we rethink like who we are in the world. It makes us so small seeing that huge thing. So that's what the researchers say. And I had the more I looked into it, the more I had a simpler definition of it or what it is. For me, it's when it took my breath away, when I got goosebumps, when I went, oh my God. And so I came up with an acronym for the word awe, AWE. For me, it was a wow experience. And I realized whenever I saw something and I went, wow, that was at least part of an awe moment for me. So why is awe important? Well, it's only fairly in the last 10 years that researchers have been looking into awe. It's an emotion, and they're finding it's more and more important. In fact, the leading researcher, I just heard him talk in the talk he gave, he said, awe is not optional. It's something you must have in your life if you want to be happier and healthier. And so one of the studies talks about if you could find awe in your life, it reduces inflammation. Another study said you're more generous. But there was a study that I think really is important for unity. And one of the studies is that if you just see a picture of something that awes you, like I have a picture of an iris that I took that grew in my garden. And I now have that on my wall and it brings back awe every time I look at that. So they say, the researchers say, if you have a picture of awe in front of you, it not only brings it back, but it makes you more generous. And I thought when you're asking for tithing from Unity members, show them a picture of nature. That may get you more money. I don't know. According to researchers, it may. But it came out last September, recent research that I think is really important for all of us today. I want to tell you about it. They took 52 people. So they had 26 in each group. And these were an older group. It was people 60, 70, and 80. And they told them to go out just once a week, 15 minutes, go into nature and find something that awes you. So both groups had the same exact, I'm sorry, I messed up here. One group was told to go and find something that awed you. The other group wasn't told that. They were just told to go out for a walk in nature. And what they found after 8 weeks, so they only went out once a week, 15 minutes, one no awe, the other find some awe. The group that was told to find awe, they said that they were negative emotions. They had negative emotions were diminished and positive emotions were enhanced. They were happier and they said they were less upset than the other group. With the other group, when they interviewed them, they said they were thinking about things that upset them, like I'm going on a trip next week, I'm not packed, all the things I have to get, I'm worried about missing my flight. So just that little walk, the intention of finding awe helped those people be happier and healthier than the group that didn't have that prompt. So look for the awe in your life. Nature, by the way, is the number one generator of awe. So if you want more awe in your life, go out in nature. I want to illustrate that with 3 photos. So first photo, sunset, sunrises. If you can find a sunrise, a sunset, a rainbow, a cloud formation that awes you, you will get some of those benefits. Sunsets, look at this. It's amazing. And it's not photoshopped. It's an actual photo. This photo awed me too. And when I when I looked at it, you know, I talked about awe being reverenced with fear and wonder. I really got my stomach dropped when I looked at this photo. Yes, I was in awe of nature, but also fear came into play also. So the number one generator of awe is nature, but there's also man-made awe. I mean, I don't know how many of you have seen Cirque du Soleil, an incredible performance of people doing amazing things. And every time I've seen almost every one, and I'm awed several times during the show of what I'm seeing. What about the space station? There are people living up there in space. Is that not awesome? Not only are they living up in space, they are growing a garden. And just this week, they sent people up there to make a movie out in space. And this happened a little while ago. Richard Branson sent his own spacecraft up. And guess what the name was? This kind of awed me because I'm a Unity member. It was called Unity, his spacecraft. And then what about gigantic buildings? I live in San Francisco, and there is the newest tall building is the Salesforce Tower. And let's see, it is 1,070 feet tall, 1,070 feet tall. And when I looked up the tallest building in the world, it was in Dubai, which is 2,717 feet. So you can put 2 of these Salesforce buildings on top of each other, and it still would not be the tallest building in the world. And I read where they're making an even taller one next year. How man could do this? I mean, man-made awe is also all around us. The other place for awe is, I think, our interaction with people. Sometimes looking in people's eyes, looking at a new baby, you know, it's awe-inspiring. So I had an experience at Unity a couple of years ago when I was taking a class that I want to share with you because it really was an interesting several awe moments for me. And it was a class about giving and receiving. And Unity in San Francisco, we have a new building now, but at that time, it used to be a storefront. And this was in the evening, all our lights were on, we were doing the class, and there was a knock on the window on the front door. And one of the students went to see who it was, and it was a young man, slightly disheveled, and saying he needs train fare to get to Fresno, which is a couple of hours from San Francisco. And he didn't have any money, he needed the train fare. And he had a room there, and there was a check waiting for some work he had done, but he didn't have the money to get there. So the student that went to the door, Robert, went across the street to the ATM to get the student some money. And Robert initially thought that, well, this was a scam. You know, as often we're asked for money, sometimes we think this is a scam. But Robert put that thought aside, And since we were talking about inter-centered giving, which is giving without wanting to get anything from it, Robert went to the ATM and gave the disheveled young man $20. And then Robert came back to the class and told this incredible story. Robert said that the stranger asked for $18. And the significance of that, the stranger could ask for whatever he wanted, but 18 in Hebrew means life. Some of you mean, the to life, l'chaim. So chai in Hebrew is 18. So that was kind of interesting. And then Matthew was one of the apostles, means gift of God. So here was maybe a gift of God being sent to us. And Matthew appeared just as we're talking about the act of giving without getting. And so we started to kid the teacher that the teacher hired Matthew to as an example for us. Of course, that wasn't true, but we all start laughing about it. And then after class, I came home and I kept thinking, what was this a scam or not? So I looked up online if there were any trains going to Fresno at night, and there weren't any. And then I looked up, were there any trains day or night that cost $18? And there weren't any that cost that amount. So I kept thinking, well, it probably was a scam. But it didn't matter because it was a great lesson. And the other thing, and I guess this was the all part for me, was that this young man said his name was Matthew. So indeed, it was, at least for me, a gift from God. So we never know where those kind of awe moments will come, but they're there all the time. So I want to look at how to get more awe in your life. So there are three things I want to talk about. One is intention. I talked a little about that before, but last year or the year before, I guess, I took a class where every day for, I think it was 2 weeks, the teacher would give us a prompt to go look for something. And then we had to take a picture of it and bring it back and talk about it in the class. So we were putting our intention out to find something. And one day it was anything that was heart-shaped. And I had planted morning glories around my gate in my house. And I walk my dog several times a day, and I see those morning glories every day. But it wasn't until I had that intention of finding hearts that I realized the leaves of that plant were all heart-shaped. And I hadn't seen it for weeks. So put out your intention. When you go out today, wherever you are today, even in your home, look for something that brings you awe. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be a little thing that you've never noticed. And then be curious. In Zen, they call it childlike or beginner's mind. So think like a child. I remember I was once in a cafe. I had my golden retriever at the time. It was outside, so he was with me. And there was this little child who was so enamored with the dog's tail. Golden retrievers have big fluffy tails. And the child just loved the breeze of the tail and the furriness, it'd start laughing when it brushed its face, and the movement. And I sat there, Noah, just watching how incredible this simple thing as a dog's tail was, just this most amazing thing for this young child. So don't have your own children, go to a playground, just look at children, just hear what they say. I mean, they are amazing, truly amazing. And the third thing is to look and look and look closer. And I want to show you some pictures to explain that. So several years ago, before COVID, I was in Amsterdam, and outside of Amsterdam, it was tulip time. This is an actual picture from Keukenhof Gardens outside of Amsterdam. And they plant 7 million bulbs every year. I mean, that alone is awesome. 7 million bulbs they dig up and replant in all beautiful designs. And just every turn, it was like an awesome moment. And the smell, not all the tulips smell, but there were other bulbs they planted. But basically what I realize is, yes, this is beautiful. But if I look closer, I got to see these incredible patterns, colors of the tulips. And then what was still amazing is to even look closer. And this is what really awed me. When you looked inside, there was yellow, which I didn't even see on the outside. And just the color and the way the red just kind of flared out. So you want more awe in your life, you need to look and look closer. So, you know, at the beginning, I asked, what is awe? And I finally realized after doing this research and have an answer for my agent, my former literary agent, what awe is. And so here it is. For me, awe is the presence of the divine in the world. When you can look and look closer and see the awe, there is divine in everything, in people's eyes, in, you know, babies' eyes, in the leaves, the heart-shaped leaf of a plant, the color of a bird or an insect. You know, it just, I can list 1,000 things that could bring you awe today. But what if I told you that the most awesome thing probably in the world is you sitting right there, wherever you are? That just your whole being, that you breathe in and breathe out and you're alive. And the blood running through your system, keeping you healthy and alive. So I want to show you a video that perhaps will make you aware of that.
You know, the expression I use is I say, we're all masterpieces and works in progress simultaneously. So to be human is to be extraordinary. I have a quote which says, even on your worst day, you're a living miracle. If you think about the trillions of reactions that are happening just within the biochemistry of our physicality, it's overwhelming. That we can eat food with friends at a dinner table and our body will take care of the process of digestion, when to secrete the bile from the bile ducts, when to release more hydrochloric acid to break down the food, so that the apple that you just ate at some point will become a liver cell. I mean, that is just mind-blowing, like magic, right? Yet we don't think about it. So when you really understand the endless myriad of transactions that are happening in the human brain and the human body that actually gives us the experience of being alive, it's humbling. You kind of can't help but feel a sense of gratitude and grace by virtue of the fact that I have as a human, I have the capacity to see the people I love. The fact that I can smell, the sense that I can hear the dulcet tones of a loved one or a child telling me what they feel. And I can taste the extraordinary abundance of these different flavors that we get to experience by virtue of Mother Nature. Just those 5 senses that we take for granted every day. From when you really get it, it becomes impossible to not revere life, your own and others, to recognize what an immaculate conception every being is, by virtue of the gift that it is that we get to experience life at all. Something that really hit home many years ago was that just to be alive is itself a miracle. And from that moment forth, I stopped berating myself. I'm not perfect. And there's so much humility and patience that we can develop when we understand that and then afford others. If we could afford each other just a little bit more patience, a little bit more compassion, a little bit more empathy for the fact that it is difficult, it is sometimes challenging to take on a new task, and that's okay. then that again would make for a much more loving and accepting society. But within that, we never neglect the magic that it is to be a human being.
Oops, sorry. So I just want to share with you that the audio of that was by the Fearless Soul Team, and it was Peter Crone's voice, and somebody in my own Unity did that video, Ryan Harvey. So thank you, Ryan. So anyone that knows me knows that I love Broadway shows. I was brought up in New York City and went to see shows since I was 7 years old. And there's one show, Flower Drum Song, that has a song in it called 100 Million Miracles. And it really addresses what I'm talking about today, that indeed there are 100 million miracles, you know, all around us every day, not only in our bodies, but the sun, you know, the moon, the rain, the snow, the wind. It's all around us. So I invite you to share or notice those 100 million miracles and look for your wow experiences. I want to close with a quote by Albert Einstein, and then we'll go into a meditation. So Albert Einstein said, there are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. So with that, let us go into our meditation. So if you would just find a comfortable place, if it's comfortable, close your eyes. And just be present wherever you are. A couple of deep breaths. Noticing the miracle of the breath. The breath keeps us alive. So honor that miracle, honor that awesome moment of each breath. Each breath is a miracle. Each movement we take is a miracle. And just know that there's all these miraculous, awesome moments around us in the smallest little thing. And finding those moments, finding those awesome things is also connecting with the divine. That the divine is in everything. And so when we can identify with those awesome things, we are connecting with the divine on the outside of us, the divine within us. It's all there. And it's all blessings in our life. When things are not going well, looking for the divine can help us get through that. It's often said, count your blessings. Those awesome moments are our blessings. They're there for us to take, to help us to get through the day, to honor the divine that's in them and in us. For we are the divine and we are joyous. We are the creation of the divine. And so it's all one. And we are connected to each other. Not only does our breath keep us alive, but our breath connects us to other people because they too are breathing the air that we are breathing. And so we're connected to them, we're connected to everything around us. And so we need to honor that. So today when you go out about your, whatever you're going to do this wonderful Sunday, just notice, what are those all little, big, whatever, all things around you? Those all moments that some people may say is a coincidence, but you know it's more than that. You know that there's some divine presence in it. There's divine presence in everything. And so seeing it as an all moment could help you, as I said in the research, to help you be happier and healthier. And so with a couple more deep breaths, when you're ready, you could open your eyes. As we go into a song right now.
Come to you without my list of all life's knots I can't untwist, but just to be here in your midst is all I really need. And to sit here quietly, loving you, you loving me, in the silence, in the peace is all I need to be.
Thank you so much, Alan. That was truly inspiring, and it gave me a reason to think back to some recent awe moments. Now it's time for us to give our love offerings via the U.S. Postal Service. So if you would, and you're able, please send your offering to Unity on the Eastern Shore, P.O. Box 776, Fairhope, Alabama, 36533. And now we'll enjoy another song.
Today at my school in world history, teacher popped a quiz. He said, this is easy. Just name the 7 wonders of the world for me. So this is what we wrote. The pyramids of Egypt, the Taj Mahal, the Panama Canal, China's Great Wall, world famous landmarks, we counted them all. Yes, they got every vote. Then I noticed the shy girl who sits next to me hadn't turned in her list, it was plain to see. Teacher asked her what the trouble might be, and this is what she said. There's so many answers, I don't know what to say. Teacher said, maybe we can help find a way. Just read us your list. The girl hesitated, then this is what she read. To touch, to see, to taste, and to feel, to laugh, and to hear, to love while we're here. Ah, these are such wonders, wonderful wonders, 7 wonders of the world. Well, you could have heard a pin drop in that room. Nobody spoke, nobody moved, till someone asked the girl to say it once more through. And so she spoke again. To touch, to see, to taste, and to feel, to laugh, and to hear, to love while we're here. Ah, these are such wonders, wonderful wonders, 7 wonders of the world. It's a gentle reminder from a gentle soul. We take for granted gifts worth more than gold, and the richest treasures in life's plan cannot be built by our own hand. To touch, to see, to taste, and to feel, to laugh, and to hear, to love while we're here. Ah, these are such wonders, wonderful wonders, 7 wonders of the world, 7 wonders of the world.
And now let's state together the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, for we are one. And now we'll enjoy the peace song.
With
And now we'll have our announcements. Anne?
Okay. Good morning, and thank you so much, Alan. So enjoyed your message. Very uplifting. We'll have an opportunity to talk about that after the announcements. And we continue to have our Quest group that meets on Wednesday at 1:30, and each week is a topic that is pretty much complete. So you can join us at any time if you're interested in going on a journey of spiritual discovery. We have a lot of fun every week. We laugh together, we pray together, and we grow deeper spiritually together. And it's just our normal Unity Eastern Shore link. Just zoom in at 1:30. We have a prayer pause every Thursday at 9 a.m. We set our prayer intentions. We remember the spoken and unspoken intentions of our community. We pray for our hurting world. We pray for a growth in consciousness and love for Unity on the Eastern Shore. We pray for those in Baldwin County who do not know that they are a part of us as yet. And we spend time in the silence, and we end with some inspirational music. And again, that is just our Unity on the Eastern Shore link. It's included every week in the newsletter. I hope you'll join us for some prayer. Unity was founded on prayer. We're very excited that we're going to be having an outdoor service on Halloween, which is in 2 weeks, and it's going to be at the beautiful location of the Fairhope Bayfront Park. There's a beautiful pavilion just north of the pier, and I'm so excited that we're going to have a live musician, and his name is Josh Ward. He's a young singer-songwriter who plays the guitar, and he's already picked out about 5 or 6 songs that he wants to share with us. He's had a healing experience himself, and he really is an advocate of positive Christianity, which is what Unity is. We're positive Christianity. So I hope you'll join us for that. And afterwards, there'll be a picnic. We will have some food, but if you feel more comfortable bringing your own food, you're welcome to do that. We also hope to have some games and fun and prizes, and it'll just be an opportunity to be out in the fresh air, safe, and having fun together, really connecting. So we hope we'll see you on Halloween, and of course next week as well. Okay, and we are also having a circulation day, and this is kind of what Alan was talking about, sort of giving without getting anything back. The only thing we're going to get back is love and gratitude. We're just going to give with no strings attached. It'll be an opportunity to release usable yet no longer needed items. Everything will be free. We'll bless our community, and we'll give in love, and we'll receive back in love. And it'll be held at the parking lot at church, at our own parking lot at church. And we'll invite you to bring the items that morning, and and they have to only be items that are also will be able to be donated to Goodwill. So if you have any questions, either call me or one of the board members. Okay. And we have been, for the last few weeks, when we've shortened our service a little bit, we wanted to provide some time to connect with each other. So I always ask the question, and I think Alan's going to stay on the line so you can ask him that what really touched you today? Was there a certain word or phrase or idea that really touched you, or would you like to ask Alan a question? And before we begin that, I will stop the recording. So the recording is stopped.